are contested, you can almost comfortably split or at least get the loot you need and disengage and just kind of head straight up to be central. I personally dislike it. I think Condo Canyon and Bugle are one of my two weakest POIs. If I ever am going to land at a POI, I just really struggle to fight there.
It's definitely different, especially with Condo having so many spots that you can't really build in. There's a lot of awkward windows that, you know, look really good, but unfortunately you can't build with them. Right there, like one of those stairs and those triangle walls that are just there. And Condo has a lot of those, so it's definitely one of those POIs that you have to know like the back of your hand to be able to realistically take an off-spawn engagement. There's a move over Logjam. A POI that a lot of players like to land around. It's a really good POI. You do get that initial mat gain just by the amount of mats around. Look at Fallen trying to go in, trying to hit him with the harpoon, but what he didn't realize is that brick, once it takes about a second with the harpoon, you have to hit it twice, and unfortunately that's going to cost a lot of HP on both sides. Fallen going to go down. Chris down to 14 HP. This has been a back and forth engagement. This time it looks like Chris and Wavy Jacob may be able to make the better of it, but look, all of a sudden up in the top left, it's going to be J Roses going down as well, and we've got a third party.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they were the ones who got the knock, so they're just hoping that this other duo is going to end up finishing it off. They'll get the 3 points and whatever Storm Surge damage they had there, and I'm really happy with that disengage. If you're able to get that and then immediately get out of dodge, somebody else absorbs the pressure you were just dealing with, bravo. That's plus 3 points. You get your Storm Surge, and you get to then rotate in front of these other duos as Prism finds a hefty shot there with a heavy shotgun, a great aim down sight. But then I'm going to break this down after the fact because he just missed 2 shots. He has no reason missing. So if you're not directly on top of somebody with the heavy shotgun, firing it without ADS, unless you're positioning your crosshair completely over the top of the character model, you're basically wasting a shot now as we're going to swing over to one of the other off-spawn fights here. As you can see, Scissor and Javier getting a nice little push on their side. Really good job closing down this fight early. Mags just getting separated off and then taking the 1v2, forcing the launch pad out, and I'm assuming, he's just going to gun him down here. Look at those shots. Brilliant there.
It's one of those seasons where if you take that launch pad, you gotta try to fly as low as you can, try to spin, try to dodge behind things, but it's one of those seasons where you just you just really can't. You can't afford. It's great though, right? And I think this is something me and you talk about specifically a lot, is resource denial. That's a great example of it, right? Use that launch pad so they don't get it. They don't get any opportunity for that loot. And look at that. Look at that Crow gonna give over an epic shotgun. Oh, it looks good.
Yeah, Kaka, they're happy about that one on the other side. The Raven turned out to be his friend there, not yelling nevermore. Instead, he's yelling, here you go. Just a gift from above and just dropping right down in a key spot. And it looks like maybe another potential fight going on here in Logjam. Doesn't seem like there was a resolution or another one ended up coming through there. We're going to get another replay here in just a second to see what we missed there in that regard. And J Rose is taking a fight over at Covert Canyon. And this is when did he just not see him push up there?
I don't think he saw him. That is unfortunate. And no way, there was a team behind him as well. And I guess that is the duality of what is Covert Cavern. Is yes, you can get a lot of loot, but you got to be really careful.
And right now, why is that on the ground? Are they just leaving that? It seems like they're like trying to pick what they end up wanting to take with them, but that's not something. Again, we talk about resource denial. Don't just leave that out in the open. At least toss a wooden cone over the top of it. Don't let somebody come by and be like, "Oh, a free shield fish." Like, why give somebody rotating behind you 50 HP? It's not like nobody's gonna find that. It's right on the edge of zone. It's just weird to me when you're at this level. Like, go chuck it in a corner somewhere. You can throw fish.
Yeah, and it's like hiding those extra minis in a bush, right? Like we said just moments ago, though, like it's literally resource denial. And at this level, you would expect to see more of it, but I feel like we just don't. We don't really see a lot of players do that. We don't see even then, right? Like, let's say you have that ability to pick up those gauntlets and you have an extra one there. Great shots here by Nico. You can use the extra gauntlets while you're just chilling in your POI if you're not rotating out, to get rid of them, to not allow another player to have them. there's a lot of opportunity here, and I like this setup from Nico. I like that they're sneaking around, but they've got to be careful. They're in a spot that a lot of players are going to rotate.
Yeah, keeping an eye on the bottom right-hand corner of the map. You already saw one duo rotate past on the other side. You can see that Scissor just getting himself a decent amount of space over on the side, making sure he's getting up on the utility, but they have a chance now. You can see putting up hard mats between him and the opponent, segmenting him off, but there's one of those other duos. There's the other one of those other duos, and Nico eats a couple of his shots for his trouble, and without an extra big pot now, pushing into this becomes a little bit more risky.
We move over to the Daily Bugle as they've gotten zone. We're going very east, though. This is one of our first eastmost zones, so they'll have a good angle on the entire rest of the lobby. But I mean, let's be real. This is why you land at the Daily Bugle. Look at the loot that they've got: a legendary MK7, that shotgun, and interestingly enough, I like this prioritization of the chug splashes over the web slingers.
Yeah, being able to just stack those chug splashes and being able to just chuck them down whenever you feel like there's any kind of trade. Also see Epic Pistol being rocked by Pars. Again, ridiculous first shot accuracy rate. And you can see if he's able to get a line, especially if you crouch, which will also reduce that first shot accuracy timer reset, you can basically spam it out with perfect accuracy the entire time. And when it comes to damage fall off, the pistol is actually a little bit more damage efficient than the MK7 once you get to the max range situation. I know that sounds a little bonkers, but that is the case, as we see somebody else also opting into that 100 Thieves Arkham, rocking one there in his 5th slot.
I really like seeing it. Again, we're big fans of the pistol, and it's unconventional, but it works. Arkham confident in his ability to get the damage off with that SMG and have that as a backup for the swap if it's needed. But one thing we've always noticed with Arkham and Epic Whale, they'll give Arkham usually the more laser focused weapon, right? Whether it be that Ranger assault rifle or the pistol, because they know his pinpoint accuracy when it comes to long shots is really, really good. So they can rely on him for Storm Surge, and with the pistol, you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's generally Arkham ends up getting the stronger surge weapon in, I don't want to say 9 circumstances out of 10, but maybe like 7 out of 10, right? It's not like Epic Whale is a slouch to the weapon as we get our surge warning on the right-hand side. 141 below is the first number we will see, which means the team who is lowest towards the bottom, the team who's done the least amount of damage, will need to do that. And we get the update, and we see Favs and Snacky currently sitting 192 above, so they're relatively comfortable. They don't need to open up anything. They can sit inside their fully built metal and brick and be relatively happy, but it seems like that's not the case. They're actually just starting to spray and going forward. They're in the tall grass and they don't care about it. Not worried about any raptors there. Instead, they're the ones who are doing a little bit of hunting.
Gotta be careful. They kind of come out of nowhere, and they are potent. It's like Ghosty looking for that aggressive move. Unfortunately for them, they had a wall in front. They would have been able to see Fabs looking through that cone if they didn't have that wall, but because they wanted that protection, they unfortunately won't be able to see it. And I'll be real. I'm expecting Kaz and Snacky rather to kind of go aggressive on this, right? I mean, they're definitely a duo that could do it, but I kind of wanted them to.
Right side of the screen now swinging on over to the veterans themselves. Landjog and Punisher trying to get themselves above Surge. A couple tags there from Landjog. A couple more tags from Punisher. Gets them from 94 to just 11 below, which means one more tag, a headshot there. Landjog going to be more than happy to trade that out for keeping himself up there. And you see, there's no threat. Like nobody carries sniper rifles this late into the game. So you can kind of hang out there. And because the MK7 does have such aggressive damage fall off, even though he got dinked, what, like 4 or 5 times there, or like 3 times plus a headshot, all it takes is a big pot and a mini, or a couple minis and a big pot, and he's right back up there. And that's going to be plenty worth until you're still below Storm Surge. He needed to keep trading out the damage there, because now, like, they have to find targets. Luckily for them, if they look directly to north, there's 2 duos who are holding each other, and they should just look to get involved in that hard.
He's dropping the med miss for that SMG, which we know, and oh, yep, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to look at that engagement, looks to find more elimination, as Snacky is going to get eliminations. They did end up going aggressive. Those armored walls, doesn't look like it's going to save Taltai from much. Beast trying to help him out. They've got a lot of builds, but they don't have a lot of space. Beast down to 20 HP, trying to build on out, but it looks like Landjack and Punisher are going to find that, as Stacky does go aggressive on a Ghosty, who was right next to them. So good to see that that did end up playing out. They should now be above 285. They should be chilling, and now can go back for that med mist for Punisher if they want to use it now.
Yeah, and you can see they're just trying to sort out which loot belongs where, top off their mats, refarm whatever they can. The one thing to note is they were rocked right on the very edge of the zone, so no matter what, they're going to have a little bit of a jog to get to the next zone. It's not too far, right? But it's still, given where the terrain is, the one team in the bottom right-hand corner, that kind of tannish triangles towards the top of the map, who are right on that right side hill of the Bugle Crest, they're basically just get to decide who passes and who doesn't. They can rain shots down, and they have a great sight line now. You can see Remy is solo on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side there, we got Yumi and his duo, who are below Surge right now, and just trying to use those very valuable chili chug splashes to offset it and then to head towards the zone, as only 2 people need to fall. But I mean, things are going to get weird here. They're taking a lot of damage, and Egotome is actually going to end up going down here with one more attack. How good is your chili chug splash aim from downtown? Call him Aaron Rodgers, the MVP. He drilled him with it, and then Surge turns off. 1 HP in a dream, but possibly the most valuable utility resource being burned there just as a saving grace.
That was beautiful. That's what you want to see. That's the throw that, you know, you can't ever practice that. That's not something that you could do in any sort of scrim. You just kind of have to hope and pray. Look at that HP and look at this angle. You're going to see it hit that HP just in time. You actually don't even see it hit, because the moment that it hits is the moment Storm Surge goes off. So it was a millisecond of perfection. He had no room for error.
That's just when you tell your teammate, help! Here's a live listening to their comms. Help! Throw a chug splash on me, anything, please, help! No, never mind, I'm good. Good job. It's just like, that's the moment, right? Like, just going through this. I promise you, Egotome was just begging and screaming, but we'll see what ends up happening now in the next circumstance, as we're going to swing on over the 6X themselves, 100 Thieves, Arkham, Energy, Epic Whale. They're just smack dab right in the center of zone again. 4th zone dropping right on top of them. Only a short hop, skip, and a jump to the outside edge. However, this time they have a duo sitting directly above them.
And this is where they are so good at. This is why they're some of the top team, right? And we saw this way back in the day. I mean, all the way back in Europe with Airwax, when he was kind of the first pioneer of going straight for center zone, setting up and just looking for all the tags. He was kind of the first one to really push that type of gameplay forward, really dominate that style, and they are a really good proponent of it still. They are great at doing it. And now you're seeing that they're even better at finding more Storm Surge tags along the way, so they don't have to worry about that. As Batman Buka, they get a lot of ammo over from Wheels. And again, they're second place. They're still, again, this competition is wide open for anybody to really take the lead. Yes, Arkham and Epic Whale do have it, but it's not by much, so they're in a great spot.
I mean, 90 plus points isn't insignificant after 2 games. That's definitely well above the average base. So if they're able to keep it up, I'd say they probably have one of those 8 spots unlocked. But again, it's not about only taking first here. There's no money on the line directly today, but a top 8 spot guarantees you a chance to compete in the money in the finals. So that's really what everyone is looking for. 1 and 8th all get the exact same ticket. So keep an eye on the top left-hand corner. You can see Courier actually ends up getting a knock. I said Courier knocked Salty, which was his teammate there. So interested to see kind of what happens there. Looks like he ended up getting cleaned up immediately. So unfortunately, my caster's curse in terms of prediction looking like it's continued here. But Zuko and Igor Obama getting a good line on their opponents, but they are below Surge right now, Clay. And need to start raining down shots. That damage is going to end up coming through here in about 30 more seconds, and we still need 6 more duos to fall. They're trying to get box to box and end up putting the pressure on it. They will end up finding Barterista. Will they find the second one? Is that enough to get him above Surge? It will, currently sitting at 52. Trying to make the right play in terms of what utility to take, but there's a little bit of hesitation. It looks like he might have accidentally left the Spider-Man gauntlets.
Oh, that's unfortunate. It's definitely something you want to keep, but I mean, swapping it out for Med Mist is not that bad. I mean, out of everything I could have picked up, I would have chosen that second, as Unfortunately, his teammate gonna go down. Punisher gonna get another knock, and hopefully it'll turn into elimination for them. As Wavy Jacob gonna pick up 2 there. The Chug Splash duo, if you will, fortunately gonna fall, but they made it into that half in, half out, 91 above. Look at that zone. They've got a launch pad, luckily for Zuko, so they should be able to make that rotation.
So he's got a launch pad, and he should know where all of that loot is over towards the side. And that loot also included 2 med kits and some Spider-Man gloves. So if he wants to dip back into the zone, he does have that option. However, I think he's probably just going to try and late rotate along the side because there's so many people packed in that if he times it right, he should be fine. We're going to swing back on over to Static here, who should not have been putting bad things into his name now. As you can see, Batman Booga on the left-hand part of your screen. 100 Thieves Arkham in the bottom right-hand corner. He's just getting a hop, skip, and a jump, burning tons of metal, almost the entirety of his metal to actually rotate into the zone. He doesn't have a single metal build left, but they're saying, hey, this is worth it. As you can tell, Arkham is then just, or Epic Whale is immediately going to split it over and give him half life.
He dropped his pistol. He's rocking double SMG. I'm very intrigued to see how this plays out because, again, this season, out of any, this is one of the seasons where you can do it. It does provide you with a lot of damage output, and even on high ground, with where they want to be, he'll be fine. And watch, he's just going to swap over to another SMG. They don't really have the ability to. It's like having another player there. It's essentially like having a trio because you can swap so quickly and get that damage out so well. But if they get into a close quarters combat situation, will he be able to still put out the same amount of damage he would if he had a shotgun?
The answer is yes. The dual stinger SMGs put out a lot of DPS, especially when you're as accurate as Arkham and you don't end up having the downtime. The drawback ends up being the amount of light ammo you burn through, but assuming that Epic Whale is then the one holding the shotgun and the MK7, then you can just kind of gift over all his light ammo, and that's why Arkham is currently sitting on 500 plus. But I also think Epic Whale might have been rocking the stinger because it seemed like they just had 3 pressuring on the wall there, so we'll see what ends up happening. So swinging back on over. Zuko solo as Igor Obama has left office. He's off retired now in the side. Maybe he'll come back later on to do a little bit more in the later games, but as of now, it is all on the solo player. But Raze and Pars, I don't think we've talked enough about them. They've been putting up numbers so far, Clay.
They have, and we always see a team that will kind of fly under the radar a little bit, and they'll start putting up these numbers, and it's like, wait a minute, whoa, wait, they're in 3rd place now. All of a sudden, now 76 points coming through for them. They do have 1 elimination. They're setting themselves up well. Their loadout looks great, and oh, that's going to be another elimination right there. Look at the aim from Raze going through. They barely may be able to make it out of zone, but you're right, Raze and Pars playing well together, and that's what matters the most. It doesn't matter if you're popping off, showing all these performances. As long as you're playing well together as a duo, that's what matters. As Arkham and Epic Whale try to go for high ground, but get shut down for right now, but who's to say they don't try to take it here momentarily?
Yeah, they still have 2 more peppers, at least on Arkham. They'll probably look to split those here in a second when they have the ability to get them, and then they'll look to go again. As you can see on the wide right now, Bumboy and his duo Kizin up on the high ground, trying to battle with UA and Chicken. And that battle right now, Bumboy is doing a good job to hold position, but immediately, as soon as they establish high ground, it says, nope, just kidding. We're going to go down the hill. Batman Booga sliding down the hill on the right side, looking like an action movie star, immediately catching up to the front side of the zone, going to box up a metal and about face in the top right-hand corner. Still have Arkham and Epic Whale trying to work together along the backside of the zone. They're dropping down a little bit from height, trying to get wall to wall and put some shots in, but so far not necessarily finding success. There's that Stinger SMG swap. Arkham ends up getting white tags, but can't quite chase it down and has to reload both. And in that time, Pulsar Chip says time to turn the table. Epic Whale ends up going down. Arkham now left without a shotgun in a situation where he has to use the attrition weapons, and he goes down 15th place for the 6X. But I believe they were able to just barely push into the triple digits now. You can see bottom right-hand corner, we got Batman Booga and Wheels. Top right, Raze and Pars, and we got some breathing room at the top of the table now.
And looks like High Ground finally looking to be challenged. Jelty gonna hold it out there. Batman Booga gonna find an elimination on the other side, finding Landjuck. Now 3 eliminations, looking so good. Seems to operate as a solo, yet always near his duo. Doesn't matter if his duo is right on top of him or on the sides. He's finding these solo eliminations. That's what you want to be able to do, but they don't have a lot of white HP. Zone going back will give them a little bit of reprieve. Jelty at the high ground until all of a sudden no match remaining. Trey on the other side. Jelty trying to make something happen. Will use the web slingers to try to get over it. They will still have high ground, but with no builds remaining, there's not really a lot you can do there.
Up we go, he says, but not necessarily finding anything. Trying to find an angle, gets the 37 tag, but about face on the right-hand side. Still got Batman Booga and Wheels running on the low ground, but they too very low on mats, trying to find old builds, trying to find edits. Jelty on the backside of the zone. Med Mist to try and top off the HP, but that's going to be the very last of his utility once he burns through that, so not going to be able to negate the zone. Zooming back in on Batman Booga, trying to find whatever shots he can. Wheels staying hip to hip with him as we're into our top 10 with Xeno picking up Chip on the side. You can see just trying to continue pickaxing forward, finding a space, trying to work back towards the zone, finding a solo, but the solo instead now is going to be Batman Booga's. Wheels goes down 96. That's a white tag, but he can't find a reset with no builds. He tries to put one on the floor and there's nothing there. Ray's continuing to try and work forward. 4 more elims for our number 3 team, but it's all going to be on Pars, who's stuck on the backside of the zone with only a 5-tick med miss, no more extra utility. One shot from anything will take him down at this range, making sure everything's reloaded as he gives it one more go, hoping to find a pick, hoping to find a target as the team continues just ramping on high ground above him. Looking back to the backside of the zone, he knows there's a solo there. He should have been able to identify that player, but instead he gets ripped apart, and we have our top 5 with Jelty and Krizix just raining shots down from above.
How they went from no materials on the high ground to be able to keep it for the entirety of most of the moving zone to now with 10 eliminations looking to pick up the victory royale. It's a 2v2v1 there on the low ground. They're trying to make something happen now. 2v2. Krizix is going to pick up Wale. They don't have the materials, and as I say that, Jelty's going to find a tree, farm it back up. They have taken the #1 spot as well, moving up to 111 total points. 11 eliminations. If they secure this, it would be 13 total points, which would break that record for the most points that we've seen in a game, at least on West. I believe it was just for game #1, but still, they're doing so well. And again, I'll remind you, they had 0 builds at one point, so they had to use the web slingers to just try to be able to keep high ground as they're getting dropped down. Bump Boy gonna go down. That's a nice shot. Jelty will get the other one as well. They work hand in hand to pick up that 13th elimination.
Vamos, Jelty. Krizix. 13 eliminations in the victory royale here in match number 3 puts them well into that top 8 conversation and sets them up to go into this back set of 3 games. Honestly, looking to enter tournament management mode. Now they just need to hold on, make one more solid late game, and they should be able to put it all together.
And I'm definitely going to have to see how they did it, right? How they went from that 6-7 zone with 0 materials to maintaining it throughout the entirety of those last zones. That is a long time to be on high ground with no one contesting.